Namaste and welcome to another episode of Waking Up with Jessica. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. So today we are going to be waking up with Claudia Gilani. She is a passionate herbalist, alternative health practitioner, podcast host, and the founder of Healing the Source, a platform aimed to empower individuals to reclaim their health by embracing the gifts of nature. After a lifelong battle with chronic symptoms, Claudia became fed up with the conventional approach to healthcare. The allopathic medicine system offered only temporary relief by suppressing symptoms without addressing the root causes of her ailments, which included full-body cystic acne, chronic fatigue, cavities at every dentist visit, anxiety, depression, brain fog, extreme bloating, constipation, deliberating menstrual pain, hair loss, and the list goes on. Determined to find a better way, Claudia embarked on a personal journey to discover the true path to healing. By merging ancient wisdom with modern understanding, Claudia provides a comprehensive toolkit for achieving optimal health and embracing a vibrant, fulfilling life. Welcome to the show, Claudia.
Thank you so much. First of all, congratulations on your show. This is so exciting. I'm a huge fan of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and you're a dear friend of my family, and so I'm just so honored to be here.
Thank you. And you're such a busy woman, so I'm really grateful I was able to get you on this show.
Yes, as you were listing off those symptoms that I experienced in my life, I was like, wow, damn, I did? Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And, when you heal, once you heal something, it's so easy to feel so comfortable in yourself, in your body, in your daily life, that when you look back and look at what you went through, it's like, whoa.
Right. Did I go through that?
Yes.
Yeah. So you and I have something in common amongst many other things, but we were both born and raised in Chicago.
Chicago gals.
How cool is that? Good Midwestern values that we exude.
Yes. Oh, that's so real. I mean, I love Los Angeles. I do. I really do. But
yeah,
it's, there's definitely a different personality here, a stereotypical personality. Of course, I've met such amazing people here, but there is there are just some attitudes that miss the mark here. Yeah. That when I do meet someone from the Midwest, I'm like, wow, this person is down to earth and honest. That's so refreshing.
Totally. Absolutely. I was hiking a few days ago with my girlfriend and we were coming down the hill and this woman just basically stood like, are you going to go around me? And I'm like, no, we're coming down. You go around us. But it's sort of like that attitude. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you have to offer me?
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing that's very unique about you and people may not know is that your mother immigrated from Iran and you were birthed from a sperm donor from Germany.
Yes.
That is so unique.
It's definitely a very fun party story to tell. So when people will, when they first meet you, they're like, oh, do you have any siblings? And I'll say, well, I grew up as an only child, but I have 60 plus half siblings.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
yeah.
Excuse me, what?
Have you ever tried to find any?
Oh, I've found so many of them. So when I say 60 plus, I know of 60 that exist. And this is from doing 23andMe, the DNA testing site. Sure. And it's controversial because you're giving your DNA to the government, essentially. Yeah. but I was like, I want to find out, do I have siblings? And I was under the impression, my mother was under the impression that there would be a max of 10 offspring from this one donor. That was false. Huh. I don't know why. The medical, each donor site tells the parents, the mother, there's a cap of 10. But he went to so many different sites to donate that I think they just didn't track at that time. So I think that's definitely an issue in my opinion, because there are just too many offspring of the same person.
Wow.
But I have met a handful of my half siblings. They are here in California. They're spread out all over the country, some out of this country. And actually one of my half sisters became a very close friend of mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is she in LA?
She's in LA. We live 5 minutes from each other.
Oh my God.
She's an actress. And when I was doing more acting a few years ago, she and I found out that we had the same agent.
Wow.
For some time, we had like the same management. We had the same like acting coach. We had the same like some mutual friends in common. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that happening?
Well, apparently it's not that rare because there's so many of us.
Yeah, true.
Oh boy.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were just hiking with RFK? Jelly.
Oh, you're a fan as well.
Yeah, I met him last month. He did an event at the Wilshire Ebell Theater, and I just found out about it the day of.
Wow.
And I dragged one of my friends with me, and then they're like, "Oh, if you want to like meet him, you can." And there was like everyone just started lining up, and I'm like, "Let's just meet him." And they take your phone and they take a picture. When he saw me, he was like, "Wow." Just sees this like Amazon walking up to him because he's pretty tall,
He is. He is. And let me tell you, when I went on this hike with him, I'm looking at him. I'm like, he has blue jeans on. He looks like he's not ready for a hike. And yet this little group of us going on this hike with Bobby Kennedy, we were gasping for breath, trying to catch up with this man who was so far ahead of us, as if he was strolling through the park, as if it was nothing at all. With I think he has like 4 or 5 dogs that were following him, and he's just, it was so easy for him, and we're all like, hello, help, wait, we have a question.
Wow.
Meanwhile, our current situation with politics, it's like all these people are unable to stand up, speak. They're so old. Yeah. I don't know. It's sad. It's a sad situation.
It really is. I find it so ironic, these quote unquote health experts. I mean, have you seen how some of them look? And I'm not being shady, but like, you're telling me how to be healthy. Look at you.
Yes. Look, I'm all for body positivity.
Yeah.
I am. But when it comes to health or like any field, if someone is not excelling in the field that they're in, I don't want their advice.
Absolutely.
I want to go to someone who knows, not only knows what they're talking about, but exudes and presents themselves with that information in their own life.
Absolutely. Do you remember back during the COVID days?
What COVID?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Absolutely. I know. What they did with Joe Rogan. When he was saying he was healing through ivermectin, which is actually very healing. If you read articles about it, it was a miracle.
Oh yeah, I took it cheap. Even though they were making fun of people. Yeah. I took it when I had COVID once, took it. I was better the next day. Meanwhile, everyone was like making fun of me saying, "Oh, you're taking veterinary like horse medication." I'm like, all right, well, I feel great. Meanwhile, you're still in bed feeling like crap. So, I mean, to each their own. Right. But yeah, the news, the media took Joe Rogan's clips, put a filter over it, made him look green and sickly while he's talking about how he feels so much better. And everyone's commenting, "Oh, he looks like crap. Like this guy is a conspiracy theorist." And I'm like, you know what? I don't agree with everything Joe Rogan says. I don't agree with everything anyone says.
Absolutely.
But I admire him so much because he's a very curious guy who just wants to learn from everyone's point of view.
Absolutely.
And I think that's how we should all be, is just ask questions. Don't take things at face value. Stop. If the government, the medical system, your so-called experts tell you this is a fact, go, okay, great. Let me take a second and research all biases and figure it out for myself.
Do you remember when back in the day we were actually encouraged to do that? To like do your research and read?
When was that? I'm trying to remember.
And now it's a crime if you do that and you come up with what's true for you. So I find it crazy. And I'm sure you've been called a conspiracy theorist, an anti-vaxxer, and all these things, because I've been called them too. And when people say that to me, I'm like, that doesn't hurt me. I've been called way worse.
It doesn't hurt me. You know, it used to. It used to bother me. I used to very much care about what other people thought of me. And that's another big part of my healing process is stress, emotional, really fearing judgment. And in a way, like my own podcast and my platform on Instagram is a big part of my healing process, because I'm putting myself out there every day, talking about my beliefs, my thoughts, and being a very imperfect person, because I'm not always right. And I hope people question me. I tell people all the time, like, whatever you learn from me, ask questions too.
Sure.
Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, labels. So labels used to scare me. Now I'm like, you can call me literally anything. It has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the person saying those words.
So true.
It has to do with them. And I feel sorry for them that they feel this need to throw up negativity and project whatever insecurities they have onto another person.
Right.
And I just wish them well.
Same. You know, if I don't even want to argue anymore. If you tell me 2 + 2 is 5, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes,
okay,
you're right.
Good for you. Whatever.
I disagree, but I'm going to walk away.
Absolutely. What I really like about you, Claudia, is you're so relatable. Like on your Instagram and stuff, you keep it very real, and you'll just show up and you'll do a video, and you're just very raw and real, and you're not trying to be something that you're not. You're giving the advice. You're showing people what actually works what worked for you. And I always share your post with friends that are going through certain issues, and you're just spreading so much good karma for yourself, because that's the way I see it. It's just branching off into the universe.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I want to talk a little, I wrote this quote down, well, actually a question, and to set the tone for what we're going to talk about, I'm going to start with this question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How does your relationship with God influence your overall well-being and health?
That's such a good question. You know, I grew up without religion. I didn't practice anything. I grew up in a spiritual household, though. You know my mom.
Yeah. Yes.
Very spiritual woman. And I'm so grateful for that. But I used to look at religion as very cult-like.
Yeah.
I would kind of cringe when people would say God, because I would just look at it as, very cult-like. I have very negative connotations with it. Sure. And some people who are quote unquote religious tend to be very extreme. And that was my point of view of it. And now I see it as anything could be extreme. Anything in life, politics, religion, health, whatever it may be. And that was such a narrow-minded view of what religion is. And God has so many different, it can have so many different interpretations. And a friend of mine he told me, well, you could give it a different name if it bothers you. You could say creator.
Right.
You could say it's an energy. You could say it's, the energy within you, because we all carry God within ourselves. That's not to say I have a God complex, but it's like we carry this energy within ourselves. We are vessels of light, the light from the universe. We are vessels of this light, and it's up to us what we do with that light, how we react to, like, just like you said, when you're called those labels, those names, it does not bother you. You are bringing more light into your life when you react that way. Mm-hmm. We're constantly being thrown challenges in our life. It's kind of like asking, like, why do you think we're here on this planet? Or why are we here at all? Why are we alive?
Yeah.
Why do we exist? And I believe it's to overcome narratives, or, in Kabbalah, they call it tikkun. It's to overcome the restrictions and problems and narratives that we've created for ourselves, or ancestral trauma.
Yeah.
To overcome that. And when you do so, well, you either react negatively, whether it's something as small as someone standing too close to you in line and you're getting irritated and you react and you say, hey, back off.
Yeah.
Or you can react and take a deep breath and take a step forward, or turn around and say, hey, do you mind taking a step back? I feel like I just need a little space. Like, it really depends on how you react to big or small situations. I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but I look at my life now in such a different way. I'm no longer living in victimhood. I don't label myself. When something bad happens, it's not, why me? It's, okay, what is this here to teach me?
Yeah.
What is this lesson? How can I expand myself? How can I learn? What is the lesson here, so I can expand and bring more blessings into my life?
Wow. That's sort of my philosophy and how I see God. I don't see God as some man in the sky that's judging every little thing that you do.
Yeah.
I see heaven and hell basically states of consciousness, right? You could be in hell when you're very spiritually disconnected and you're turning to alcohol and you're turning to God knows what to escape the things that you don't want to handle, that can help you be in heaven, which is a state of ecstasy and a state of bliss, and something that we all strive for. So me personally, I feel like if you're spiritually disconnected, that can affect your health.
Absolutely. And there's so many things that can impact that, whether it's your diet. Most people today are nutritionally deficient.
Yeah.
And that alone is messing with our brain. I mean, how many people do you know that have anxiety today?
Oh, I know.
Everybody. It's like, you don't have anxiety? What?
Yeah, it's like, how many Americans are on psych drugs?
Yes.
It's scary.
It's horrible. And it's, to remedy that, people are being given medication after medication, and it's not healing the root cause of what the issue is. And it's disconnecting us from our higher self.
Absolutely. You recently co-wrote a book with your mom about breast implant illness.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure you know I used to have breast implants.
That's right. Yes.
And they made me incredibly sick, and I had no idea.
What were your symptoms, and how long did you have them in?
I had them for over 10 years.
Okay.
And got them my early 20s. I thought it was normal, right? And people would tell me, you're so tall, you need a little bit more, you're too tall and thin. And it was just this body,
Yeah.
the way things are pushed onto us, how a woman's supposed to look and all these things. And so when I first got them, I actually liked them. They looked good. A lot of men didn't even know. They're like, oh, really? So and they were soft. They weren't too big, and they looked great. And I didn't notice anything in the beginning until years went by. And I'm like, wow, I'm feeling very fatigued. Why am I feeling fatigued? Like, I'm young.
How did
I'm
you
pretty
connect the
healthy.
dots?
So I did a lot of, I was taking lots of vitamins to try to combat every symptom that I had.
That's like the first thing we all do is what supplement's going to fix this?
Totally changed my diet several different times, took an allergy test. And then I did blood tests and everything was normal. I'm totally healthy. I'm like, what is it? What is this? And then I found out about breast implant illness through a friend's relative who recently went through it. And then she told me about this Facebook group. I go in the Facebook group where there's thousands of women. It's called Breast Implant Illness by Nicole. I literally started reading the women's testimonies and just started crying. I related so much. I'm like, first thing I thought was, I got to get these fucking things out, But it's not like you just go to the doctor and pop them out, as you know.
Yeah.
You got to get that scar tissue that has all those heavy metals that are stuck to your ribs, that capsule out. And that was very important to me.
People don't realize that. I've seen countless cases of people having, they get their breast implants out. They go to a surgeon who doesn't specialize in explant. And it's really important that your surgeon knows what the deal is, because so many of them don't. They know how to put them in.
Yeah.
But the process of taking them out is more than just taking the implant out itself. It's the capsule. So our body naturally forms a capsule around the breast implant because it's a foreign object in our body.
Yeah.
So any foreign object that is inputted into our body, it sees it as this alien thing it's like an attack. It's an attack on the body. So our body is amazing. It's so miraculous. It does this thing where it forms a capsule to just keep it all into one place. So it doesn't keep leaking the heavy metals, the silicone, whatever, you want to look at the ingredients in an implant. It's wild. I don't even, it's, you got to question why there are certain things in there like aluminum in implants. But yeah, so when you get the implants out, so many people still have that capsule still in their body. So they get the implant out and they're still sick because that capsule's holding all of those toxins and waste from the implant.
Wow.
It is still in their body. And they're like, I got the implants out. It was not the implants.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Like, I spent all this money and they didn't realize it's still in their body. Yes, the implant's out, but that protective covering is still in there. It's such a shame because, my gosh, what an investment to put the implants in. And then so many women don't even realize that they need to replace the implant every 10 years. Yeah. A lot of women don't even do that. Yeah. And then they have to, when they do explant, I know so many women who are like, well, I can't afford to do it. And they keep them in. And it's just so heartbreaking because I've seen it. I've seen it with my mom. As you mentioned, she had BII and she had 3 sets of implants over the course of a little over 30 years. She did her due diligence. She removed them and replaced them every 10 years. And she was fine the first 10 years, fine the next decade. And then she started to have gut issues. Then she started to have memory issues. Then she was gaining weight. Then, like, little by little, And we're like, oh, most of us are like, it comes with age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's all in your head.
It's all in your head. It's normal.
Yeah.
Normal this, normal that. And eventually she almost became wheelchair ridden. It was very hard for her to get up. She was very depressed. I mean, she was suicidal.
And she's
at some
early
points.
50s.
Yes, young woman. And I realized it was BII, and I told her, and
Wow.
it's hard for some women to hear that.
Yeah.
Because our just in general as women,
Yeah.
our looks can be very important to us, and it becomes a part of our identity and self-worth. And taking that away, a lot of women feel less womanly, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And so I've seen a lot of denial when it comes to BII, and they don't want to acknowledge it. And I completely understand, but it's only until they really acknowledge what's going on and they take the implants out and do the proper detox, which is another part of the process, which is so important. That's really why we made a book together, is because the process of eliminating those toxins and waste from the implants after getting them out is so important, because heavy metals, they can lodge into your system, and it's very tough to get them out. But it is possible. Yeah. So
when I first got my implants, I opted for saline because I thought they were safer, right? And turns out the shell is made of like over 40 different chemicals that are constantly being released into your body. I mean, you think about these implants, they're sitting on top of your vital organs.
The majority of your lymph nodes, which is like the sewage system of your body. It's what the lymph, you have lymph vessels all throughout your entire body, but really your chest carries so much of them. And when it's just being exposed to all these toxins, it is, I mean, it should be a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to convince someone who is quote unquote okay with implants. They'll say, "Oh, I have implants, I'm fine."
Yeah.
But I ask them, "Are you actually fine? Are you symptom-free in your life?"
Sure.
Usually the answer is no.
Absolutely.
Because we've normalized bloating. We've normalized not pooping every day. We've normalized it all.
It's so true. I know. So it just, in 2020, I'm sure you know this, they finally put a black box warning.
Yes.
An FDA warning on the implants that the doctor has to disclose to the patient that these there are some people that have these effects.
Yes, and it can cause cancer. Cancer, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I got them out. Like, I feel so much more connected to my body now. Whereas before I felt some sort of disconnect and I didn't know what it was. It was hard for me to meditate. It was hard for me to exercise. And I had no idea what this was. Just taking all these vitamins, drinking lots of water. I feel so connected to my body now. And I have my sensation back. Which I lost when I got the implants.
Wow.
And when I first felt that again, I got very emotional because I didn't know what that felt like for so long. And then you want to be sexy at the same time. And it's like, no. And also what's really sad is all of these women in the group, well, not all of them, but a lot of the women in the group, when they remove their implants, their husbands leave them.
Oh, well, that's a sign that was not the right person for them.
Absolutely.
That's horrible. But in a way, a blessing to see why they were there in the first place.
Yeah.
Is it really that I don't want, not materialistic, but like literally materialistic.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
I'm like, good riddance. If you're
Good
going to go for
riddance.
that, bye.
Wow.
So I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about how does gut health affect our overall well-being and what can we do to improve it? Because gut health, you know, that controls everything.
Everyone wants to know about gut health. Yes. It's tricky. It can be tricky because I feel like when people go from the allopathic world to the holistic world, they go, screw the guy in the white coat. I'm taking matters into my own hands. I'm not taking prescription after prescription. But then they go to the holistic world and they start taking supplement after supplement. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
at least it's not a pharmaceutical. But you can still be doing quite a lot of harm with all the supplements that you're taking.
Wow.
Do you need them? A lot of people are taking supplements because they hear some person on Instagram or TikTok said that, you know, this vitamin B complex is really good for you because are you fatigued? Take this. It made me feel great. Yeah. And in reality, maybe you're sufficient in that aspect and you're overloading now, or you're taking a supplement brand that is not totally pure. And, you know, most supplements on the market are full of cheap fillers and additives, a very low percentage of what the bottle is being advertised for. I digress.
Yeah.
But yeah, our gut is, I'm sure you've heard it, like our second brain. So our gut health determines the clarity of our mind. It can help with having a stable, healthy gut flora, can help with anxiety, depression. It is crucial. Oh my gosh. I mean, acne, I dealt with acne for over a decade. And I just thought I wasn't, you know, I was constipated, but I never gave a second thought to it. No one talks about poop. I talk about poop all the time. So no TMI here. But it's literally like, if you're not eliminating and your gut is messed up, the toxins in your body, again, your body is so smart. It knows what to do. If it's not eliminating properly, those wastes and toxins are recirculating and coming out through our skin, which is like our third kidney, and coming out like acne, eczema, psoriasis. And really, like, I could go into the complex details of how to heal your gut, but I really want to just go back to the basics. We're not eating enough real food. We just aren't. And it's like we're supplementing so much, especially here in America. We are spending so much on supplements and not enough on food. Our food is what our supplements
are supposed to come from.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, where have we gone?
Yeah.
We're not eating enough food, real food, and we're taking all of these supplements.
Yeah.
And I'm not against supplements. I take supplements myself every day, but the ones that I need.
Sure.
I don't take something just because someone says it's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything could be good for you, but it could also be exactly what your body doesn't need. So coming back to real food, and when I say real food, it's like foods that Mother Earth, God, gave us. Literally said, here you go.
Yeah.
This is how you survive. It's so sad. I've heard kids say that, you know, when you ask them, where do apples come from? They say, oh, from Whole Foods. It's like, well, sure, but it first came from a tree.
Yeah. Wow.
And we're eating these food-like products in boxes and packages, and we're eating products that are flavored like food, but they're not actually food. Like strawberry flavored Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
There is no strawberry.
Fake eggs.
fake
I
eggs,
know.
horrible with seed oils in them. It's
Speaking of seed oils, did
yeah.
you hear recently that they said seed oils was a right-wing conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
That was in Rolling Stone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious, right?
Everything. Fitness. I remember when was that? Like a year ago, they came out with an article saying people who encourage you to be active is like totally right wing.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
what?
know, it's nuts.
Moving your body is right wing? Excuse me.
Like, I cannot believe that this is happening in our world these days.
It's nuts. It blows my mind. But I mean,
Yeah.
so be it. I mean, lack of movement really is one of the biggest drivers of disease.
Yeah.
And what does the system at large want? They want us all sick.
Yeah.
They want us coming in for more medications and and back to foods where we have all these foods that are fortified and people think, oh, this is good for me. This bread, this cereal, this nutritional yeast, all these foods, quote unquote foods that are fortified with vitamins. And these vitamins, people are like, oh, this is great. I don't need to supplement. And I'm low in folic acid. I can just eat this and it's good for my body. You know, it's very tricky. Like nutritional yeast sounds so good. Nutritional.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you are getting these vitamins that are not meant to be methylated in your body. So it's not bioavailable. It becomes excess in your body. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. And suddenly you're super inflamed. Your kids are having behavioral issues. They have ADHD. And then you take them to the doctor and they're being prescribed Adderall and Ritalin.
Which is meth.
Which is meth, to put it simply.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's like this merry-go-round, this wheel of doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming back to real food, it's not a crazy concept. And unfortunately, you know, people say, well, I can't afford organic food. I can't afford, you know, that real produce. And it's like, we can't be angry at the people telling you what's best for your body. You got to be mad at the system at large for making those cheap foods cheap and accessible to you. There's a reason why produce is set at a certain cost compared to a box of Cheerios. They're making it so that we fight with each other. That it seems elitist to say eat real food.
I don't want to be eating bugs.
Oh, I'm with you.
You know, you heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you see all the celebrity videos of them eating bugs, like, ooh, this is high end.
And like when I first moved to LA, like they were pushing the vegan diet.
Yeah.
And I thought ethically maybe it was the right thing to do.
Right.
And I did try it and I was constantly bloated. I felt sick all the time. I'm already naturally thin, but then I got really thin and people are like, are you all right?
Yeah.
You need to go eat a burger.
A Beyond Burger?
Yeah, Beyond Burger. I mean, you look at the ingredients. It's like, I can't even pronounce this stuff. What is this?
No. And if it is a real food, it's been processed to its death. Veganism. I'm not vegan. I've never been vegan or vegetarian. I have a lot of friends who are. And they do it correctly, in my opinion. They do have to supplement with certain things, such as B12. But when I say they do it correctly, it's because they're eating real foods. They're not eating the Beyond Meat and Impossible burgers. They're not eating the packaged vegan foods. I mean, I would say confidently that most vegans are not eating real food.
Yeah.
And this is why they're sick. Most of them are extremely nutritionally deficient. They're just being sold these solutions for their food that's not even real food. And then, when you suggest otherwise, they become very defensive because they think it's an attack on life, animal's life. And it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, well, no, you can actually do what you want to do correctly, but that's a choice that you make. That is up to you. I still love my steak.
Yeah. Every now and then I feel better.
You don't have
I'm just going to honor how I feel.
You don't have to have steak every day. I mean, I have, when I do eat steak, it's grass fed. And I look at meat as like a supplement. So I'm definitely not a carnivore. But I look at it as I really love my fruits and veggies. And then I supplement with grass fed meat every so often.
You can't get a steak in India.
Oh, right.
When I was there, it was like impossible.
How do you feel? Like, was it?
I have to say, India is vegetarian, so the food dishes are amazing.
But it's like real food that
it's
you're eating.
Real food. They're actually cooking it.
Right.
It's nothing's processed.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap. And I'm like, oh my God, like in America, it's like gotta buy all this processed stuff.
I know.
The ingredients are so different here compared to like in Europe.
You go to Italy, you eat pasta and pizza every day, and you'll lose weight compared to being here. It's because, everything here is sprayed with glyphosate.
Scary.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the effects of alcohol.
Okay.
Because I've seen you post about that before. I don't drink. I know you don't drink. What can alcohol do to our gut and affect us in the long term?
I'm more concerned about what it does to the brain. It shrinks our brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, literally shrinks it. I would say this is another thing that America does wrong is, we see people in the blue zones drinking alcohol. They seem to be fine. Although blue zones are kind of deteriorating today because packaged processed foods are making their way into their areas and they're no longer really, they're not blue zones anymore. It's quite sad. But in America, let's take wine, for example. Like, I tell people, if you want to drink wine, make sure it is not from here. It should be from Italy because the wine is completely sprayed with pesticides. You are just drinking a cup of pesticides.
Oh my God.
Yes. I mean, I had a client tell me, she's like, okay, she did not want to stop drinking. I was like, okay. And I'm very open with people. I will meet you halfway. Because I don't want to drink. I have maybe 2 drinks a year.
Same.
For like special occasions.
Same.
And even when I do that, I like regret it because I'm like, this feels awful.
Yeah.
This is not worth it. But I'm not sober. I just choose not to drink. But anyway, this client of mine, she's like, I love my wine. I'm not going to give it up. I'm like, all right. Like maybe one day she will come to some peace or solution or resolution about it. But that's her journey. But at least she was asking questions about how she could do better.
Sure.
Make better choices. And I said, don't choose wine from California or anywhere here in the States. It's a cup of pesticides.
Wow.
And she started drinking, she started drinking less, but she started choosing a better quality wine that was not from the States. And she's like, Claudia, I don't wake up with a headache anymore. I'm not hungover from like one glass. My state of mind is clearer. Like, well, yeah, it's all those pesticides.
Where can you find that wine?
I can send you.
Because I'm like, I want to try now. Special occasions, I used to like it. It's socially, or you go on a date and it just, you're just more open.
Yeah.
But I just don't like how I feel
Right.
the lingering effects the next few days.
I started drinking. For some reason, I never liked the idea of alcohol when I was younger. I think because I saw people abuse it and get hurt. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But then when I got to college, when I was at UCLA, all my friends were going to parties and I wasn't going, or I would go and I would feel so awkward. So I'm like, I guess I should start drinking so I could feel like I'm a part of something. And so I started, and I got this like moon face. My acne worsened. I was feeling so bad. But I'm like, I'm still going to drink because this is what everyone's doing and I want to fit in.
Yeah.
But what I realized was if I just had a cup in my hand, it didn't have to be alcohol. It could be a mocktail or like whatever it is. I feel so much more comfortable with something literally just in my hand. Because you're participating in something social, and it feels like everyone's drinking, but drinking doesn't have to be alcohol.
You don't need to know what's in my cup.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
The last time I had alcohol was in March. I was in India, in Mumbai, and we went to the Soho House for some prom night. We all got dressed up.
Ooh.
One of my friends from New York just happened to be in India. She was in Mumbai. I'm like, girl, come to this Soho House tonight, prom night. So she came, and I'm like, I'm just going to have one drink to be social and let loose. Girl, I got so messed up. I thought I lost my phone. I had everyone looking for it. I just did some really crazy things that night.
With what, one drink?
No, I had a few. I mean, people were just handing me, and I didn't even know what it was. After a while, you're just like downing them. And I'm a lightweight anyway.
Me too.
And it was fun. But when I think about how I felt the next few days, it was just awful. And I didn't like my behavior. So it affects so many things.
Yeah, it's not only killing off brain cells, but yes, it's disrupting your gut completely, which then in connection to your brain, it's totally disrupting your neurons and causing those behavioral issues. You're feeling anxiety all of a sudden out of seemingly nowhere. You're easily ticked off by small things, and it doesn't do us any good. We might feel great in the moment when we're drinking and, oh, this is so fun, I feel so loose. But long term, I just don't see how it's worth it. I don't. And there are other things that can make you feel loose and, more comfortable in your body. But also question, like, why are you drinking in the first place? What is the motive there? Is it really just for that event to feel a little looser? Or are you drinking? I mean, are you drinking socially? Which, how often is socially?
Yeah.
Or are you drinking like on a daily basis? Why is that? When you come home from work and you need that glass of wine, or you need mommy wine time, like, why is that?
There's some obvious underlying deep spiritual issues that I feel like they're not handling. And they're just using that as to camouflage it.
Absolutely.
It's difficult. I get it.
It's not to shame anyone, because people don't have the tools to deal with what they're going through. And that's one of the big reasons why I do what I do, is to offer that to people literally for free on what those tools can be, instead of being intoxicated, wasting away, poisoning your body with medications and alcohol, and even, overusing sex. I see so many women. I mean, spiritually, men and women are different in the way that they, with their sexual connections. When women sleep around with several people, that energy from that man sticks with us in our body, and it takes a few years for that to leave our body. There's just so many different root causes of why we feel like crap. And we should know that. We should know what the possibilities are instead of just being like, here's another prescription on your way. See you soon.
Absolutely. We always hear this phrase, self-care is good, do self-care. But how important is self-care and what exactly does that entail?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get a little annoyed when people are like, self-care is my bubble bath and my face mask, and that's self-care. And it's like, that can be self-care. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But are you doing self-care in your bubble bath with your glass of wine?
Yeah. Wow.
What really is self-care? Is it, so for me, like I am, I'm trying not to label myself anymore, but I'm a recovering perfectionist.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay. Well, that explains it.
There you go. And I overwork myself. If I'm not working, I am freaking myself out because I'm not getting enough done.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, self-care is not doing anything and just being.
Wow.
Just being. And to me, that, like, if you told that to my past self, I'd be like, well, that's just laziness. You're not doing anything. It's like, no, that could be meditative. Look, when you're constantly giving, whether that's through work, to family, people who are sick. I know a lot of people who are like nurses to their own family. If you keep giving and you're not filling your own cup, you're going to eventually break down. You're not going to have enough to give anymore. And then everyone is suffering because you can't take care of another person. You can't take care of your work, your kids, because you didn't take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So just doing nothing is self-care for me. And that could be literally just sitting with myself and having a meditation in the background or some high frequency music or playing with my cat. So that could be self-care. Going for a walk, moving my body is self-care. Working out could be self-care. I don't like high intensity workouts. I like things like yoga, walking again. We don't walk enough, so I keep saying walking.
Especially in LA.
Especially in LA, we're all driving or sitting in one place. Grounding in nature.
Oh, I'm so happy you brought grounding up because there's so many benefits to grounding and it's not talked about.
Yes.
I feel amazing. I sleep so good when I ground.
Yes. I mean, we're wearing these rubber-soled shoes all the time. We're walking around in our home. We're not, I mean, when are people outside without their shoes on and just like sitting in the grass? And that's what I mean when I say I like to do nothing, is grounding and things like that. Because when you're grounding, the frequencies of the earth are being pulled up into your body. The negative ions. That's why you sleep so well when you ground. All those negative ions are being pulled into your body. This is not like some woo-woo magic crap. It's like this earth, this planet is so magical. It's so powerful. And frequency, even music. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the music of today, I find is very dark.
Oh, it's awful. It's so low vibration.
Low frequency.
Yeah.
And when we listen to it, it might be catchy, but I don't know about you, but I don't feel as great as when I listen to music from a few decades ago.
Absolutely.
I don't listen to the music of today.
I love 80s and 90s. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
So 2 questions I want to ask you because we're running low on time, but I know we can talk for hours, me and you. Castor oil.
Oh,
what is your opinion on castor oil? Because I've been using it on my eyelashes, my brows, and then I got a little carried away the other day.
You just bathed in castor oil.
Girl, I put it under my underarms.
Nice.
And then they say put it in your belly button.
Yep.
So I put it in there, and then I just took a bunch and started putting it all over my stomach.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next day feeling nauseous as hell. Like super sick.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah. My mom should be sitting here answering this question because she's obsessed, like beyond obsessed. I cannot even begin to explain. If she could, she would take a bath in it.
Wow.
Yes. It's something that has really helped her with overcoming BII. I love that you're using it for eyelashes and eyebrows because it definitely helps with hair growth. It's like magic.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. I would never buy any like lash growth serums out there.
And you see like these women, like they have no makeup, but they have like those big fake lashes. That's all you see. It's like, no, that is not cute.
Are those your real
castor
lashes?
Oil. No, these are false lashes with the strips, not the ones that actually glue.
Yeah.
But
I mean, your brows and lashes look amazing, but I would never purchase those, and they're expensive. Castor oil is like super affordable.
Yeah.
Always buy organic, and even on top of that, I would encourage buying organic castor oil in a glass bottle because the ones in plastic can absorb the plastic, and we don't want that. Plastic can be an endocrine disruptor. But castor oil is incredible. I do castor oil packs. So do you have a pack with you, or are you just rubbing it? You like to get
the sheets and everything.
Yeah, you like to get messy.
I was like, what did I do? Not only is everything messy, but I feel like crap.
Oh, okay. So the reason why you felt like crap is because that castor oil is pulling out waste in your body. So you might have done too much.
Yeah. My first time.
Yes, it can have a very detoxifying effect. So I tell people to go slow when they first start doing castor oil packs. A pack is usually it's like a piece of wool fabric that you could put castor oil on and then wrap around either like the area of your liver or your sex organs, and you could put it on your thyroid. If you have thyroid issues, it will level out your thyroid, the hormone markers. It's incredible. But yes, it has a very detoxifying effect. So it's best to go slow. I would say, with any detox, whatever it might be, a heavy metal detox, castor oil, whatever you're using for detoxifying properties, go slow. Be aware of what your symptoms are, because so many people, they go through detox and they immediately stop and they're like, oh, that was bad for me.
Yeah. Because
they're having symptoms come up. And I say, no, if your symptoms last longer than a week, maybe 2 weeks, then there's an issue there. You need to stop and figure out what's going on. But if you have symptoms, and symptoms being worsened symptoms that you already have, or sudden skin issues, like suddenly you're breaking out, you never break out, it's normal, because the wastes are being pulled to the surface. They're being pulled out of organs, out of tissues, and they're being brought to the surface, and it can manifest by showing up in our skin or just having full body inflammation. So you could even have like joint pain or like full body pain. My mom's going through a heavy metal detox right now. She keeps calling me. She's like, Claudia, everything hurts. Like, keep going. You're doing great. But you want to make sure you're hydrating. So after you do that castor oil, whatever you did.
Girl, I learned my lesson. With that. I tend to do things very extreme, like just full on detox without really researching, or just like booking a flight to go to India like in 2 days. Like, I'm very extreme like that. So I need to tone it down a little.
But make sure you're hydrated so that the the water can help flush out what's being pulled out and make sure you're having regular bowel movements every single day. Because if you're not, what's being pulled out, that's not being literally excreted out of your body, will recirculate within your body and keep causing more issues. So detox pathways being open before detoxing is very important. Make sure you're urinating, you're pooping every day. Make sure you're sweating a few times a week. Because if you're not, again, pathways being shut, but toxins being pulled out can be a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that info.
Yeah.
One quick question, because we got to go. Parasites.
Oh,
we all have them, right?
That's a big topic.
We all have them. And I know, like, in a nutshell, you can't give all the data you want to give, but I travel a lot. I've picked up parasites before. I've used ivermectin. I've done wormwood, all these things. Have you heard of diatomaceous earth?
Yes. Diatomaceous earth?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how you say it, but something like that. It's like a white fossilized powder. What are your thoughts on that?
I need to look into that deeper. I've seen one of two things. I've seen people have really great results from it, and I've also seen people have very harsh results with their gut. So it might be too harsh on the gut for some people.
Okay.
I would recommend, if it is too harsh, to go the herbal route with things like wormwood. My friend Sheila, she's the founder of Food Over Drugs. She makes a wonderful, all organic and well-crafted product of herbal capsules. They're 100% herbs. People have incredible results with the releasing of parasites with that. Fulvic acid is really great. It's the zeolite, cliniptolite zeolite. If you go to my profile, I talk about it there. Also helps pull out not only heavy metals, but parasites.
Wow.
Yes. So there are a lot of great things you can do with pulling out parasites.
People think that if you go to a third world country, that's how you'll get them. Little do you know that everyone has parasites, whether you're in the US or in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. If you have a cat, you got parasites. If you're grounding outside, if you're literally walking on grass, you're picking up parasites. But please keep grounding. You're going to get parasites from drinking tap water, from eating food. It's going to happen. You like sushi? Great. You got parasites. We all have parasites. And, you know, some worms may be beneficial for us. We all have worms that are beneficial. I know it sounds creepy.
Yeah.
But when we have an excess of worms and other parasites, liver flukes, we want to remove those from the body. I mean, if you grind your teeth at night, that's a good indication that you have parasites. If you have trouble focusing, if you have like brain fog, appetite issues, because parasites like to eat our nutrients. And a lot of people who never feel full, no matter how much they're eating, most likely have parasites.
Wow.
Or they're nutritionally deficient, which is another thing, because they're not actually getting in the nutrients that they need and they're still hungry. Again, so many different reasons for why we're suffering. But parasites are, major.
I do a cleanse at least once a year.
Nice.
Just to
I think everyone should.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia, for coming on my show and showing your support to my new endeavor. It means so much to me.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. And I'm so excited to watch your future interviews. And how many do you have so far?
I think this will be the 6th.
Wow.
Got a lot of editing to do, so
yes, it's
I'll
a lot.
launch it properly, probably in the next week or so.
You're
going to be in the first top 3 because I'm gonna do 3 at first, and you'll be there.
Amazing.
Because I just really love everything that you're about, everything that you stand for, and everything that you shared is just being put out into the world. So
thank you.
Thank you. How can people find you? How can someone book a consultation with you if they have some issues and they want to speak with you? How can they do that?
I have put a pause on consultations at the moment, but I'm coming out with a few self-guided courses. So keep an eye out for that. You can find me on Instagram at Healing the Source. And then my website is healingthesource.org. I have a line of herbal products, tea blends, and capsules targeted for specific ailments like lymphatic drainage. And I got a tea called Peace Potion. I brought it here as a gift for you.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, darling.
Of course. And let me see. I'm on TikTok, but I rarely use it. So
yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
It's a wild place.
Yeah. You can really get addicted just.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You're such a light, and I'm so grateful that you're here and that you have this platform and your voice matters so much.
Thank you, darling. And namaste. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. We love our lives.
Yes.